This is part 2. We're going to make the foot. This is what the foot will look like when we're finished. The first thing you're going to start with is one of the little discs that we made in the previous video. I already made one of the feet, so just to give you an idea of what it will look like when we're done. But you're going to take one of the bottom discs, and it doesn't really matter where you start because it's going to end in the same place anyway. Basically, I like to start like right at the beginning. So, oops. Sorry, I gotta get this straight here. Okay. I like to start off, just like kind of attach it with the slip knot. Just your basic slip knot. Okay. And chain 1. Okay. That's your first single crochet. Then you're going to single around all the way around the outer portion of the disc. One single crochet in each. I'm going to do this really quickly. Just like so. Okay. We're going to pause it and we'll pick up when I get to the end of the row. Now we're at the end of the row. Oh, and by the way, I'm using a different color. I mean, it doesn't just because the pattern says green and yellow and gray and whatever other colors, black, white, whatever. You can make it any color you want. So I just ran out of those colors, so I'm just using a different colors for now. I know they're a little hard to see, but it is what it is. So anyway, once you do a single crochet all the way around the disc, like so, you're going to join the row. Okay, so now it's completely, you singled completely around. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn it. Okay. Now row 2, I like to use like one of the pieces as like my notation for where the row ends. So, but I'll be using a lighter color when I get to further rows up because it's just easier to see. We'll sew all these stragglers in later, so just kind of work with them until they. This will be a little difficult. It gets a little frustrating, but it's easy to do. Okay, for row 2, we're going to single in every other, so which means we're going to do an increase in every other stitch. Always count this as your first stitch. So there's one. We're going to double in this one. Then we're going to do single, double, or 2 singles, I should say. And single, then 2, 1, 2, then another one, then an increase, then a single, then we're going to do a single increase, a single increase. It's kind of like a little song. A single, increase, and a single, and a single increase, a single, and a single increase, and just so you know, if you miss a stitch, it's not going to make a big deal, because you're going to end up shaping the foot later once you stuff it. So I mean, if you miss one, it's really not going to make a big difference. We'll just continue around. Just like so. Single, single increase, single, single increase, single, oops, I almost missed one, or did I? Yeah, single increase, single, a single increase, single, single increase, okay, we're at the end of the row. Okay, see how it's like kind of like that? We're not going to join it. We're just going to continue around. They're going to be continuous rounds. So what I like to do is like take the straggler piece and mark that as your first row. But just so you can see it better, I'll just put a contrasting color here. So we're going to kind of join, but we're going to do a single here to join it. Okay. You could do a slip stitch and then chain one, but this is just easier. Okay. Now for the next 3 rows, we're just going to single around 3 times. And I'll pause the video and I'll start back up when I get the 3 rows completed. Okay, now you should be at the end of the row. This would be end of row 5. So we did 3 rows of 3 continuous rounds of single crochet without joining. I just made the marker go back and forth, so it kind of weaves its way in. You can pull it out later. I just make it really long so I can keep going that way, and then just pull it out when we're all done. Okay, for the next row, for row 6, that's what row we're on now, we're going to do some decreasing. So we're going to do 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oops. Okay, so basically you should have something that looks kind of like this. This is where we started, and this is where we are right now, where there's 10 single crochets here. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 single decreases in a row. To do a decrease, you should know, I mean, I'm not going to teach how to do the stitches, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube that will teach you how to do that. But just to do that, you just go like this, pull through here, another stitch, pull through. Now you have 3 loops, and then you pull through all 3. So there's one of our single decreases. There's 2. There's 3. Okay, now we're going to do 12 singles, 12 single crochets. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now we're going to do 3 more single decreases. This is going to help kind of shape the foot. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're just going to finish off the round all the way to your starting row with just plain single crochet. And there should be probably 10 after that decrease. So now you have something that looks like kind of like a little hat. Okay. For row 7, I like to pull my marker back over this way, so now I know I'm on this row. It's just something that I do. Okay, we're going to kind of repeat the same thing. We're going to do 10 single, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Your decreases are pretty much right here, but it's going to kind of move its way over as it closes up. So we're going to do 3 single decreases. One, 2, 3, 'kay, then now we did those. Now we're going to do 10 single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. See again, here's where your decreases were before. You can kind of see them right here. Okay. So, and it's just going to move over like 1 or 2 from here to there. So it's going to end up over here when you're done with your decreasing. So we're going to do 3 single decreases. Two, and kind of pull it tight a little bit because it's kind of bulky. When you're decreasing and you're doing it like this in a round, it's this small, it makes a little holes. We can sew those up later. See, I used the ending strands and I sewed it together, and you won't even hardly notice those after you're all done. Okay, now that we have 3 your decreases completed. I did do 3, correct? Oh no, I still have 1 more. Sorry, 1 more. Now we have 3 decreases there. We're going to finish the row off with singles in each. I believe that was 6. I lost count. Okay, so now we're at our marker here. Okay, we're at the end. Okay, we're on row 8. We're going to basically kind of do the same. We're just going to do less of singles and decreasing throughout. Okay, we're just kind of going to close up the foot a little bit. So we're going to do 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, we're at where our decreasing point was. Okay, we're going to do 3 decreases, because you can see it's starting to close it up a little bit to kind of form the foot. Okay, we're going to do our decreases. Now we're going to do 3 single decreases. There's 1. There's 2. And 3. Like I said, don't worry about the holes. You can sew those up later to make it cleaner, give it a cleaner look. But we're just decreasing the foot a lot faster than we normally would. Okay, so now we're going to do 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just kind of work with it. It gets a little tricky getting it into this because it's curling up, it's closing up so quickly. You just have to finagle your hook a little and twist the fabric. It's very forgiving, so you once you get done, you'll be able to form it, and it'll work out fine. Okay, so now we did 7 singles. We're going to do 3 more single decreases, I should say. 1, 2, and there's 3. Okay, now we're just going to single all the way to the end to this row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you should have something that kind of looks like a foot. It's going to kind of look like that. So let me move that out of the way. See, that's how I do my marker. That's how I know where the starting row was when you do continuous rounds. Okay. So then I just move my marker back over this side. Okay. So row 9, we're going to do 11 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Should be about where one of your decreases is where you should probably end. If you end up way past all those decreases, then you did too many. Okay, now we're going to do, I know this seems a little crazy, but we're going to do 6 decreases. 1, oops, 2, okay, there's 1, there's 2 decreases, oops, there's 3, here's number 4, okay, number 5, it gets a little tight to work with, but that's just what you have to do. Okay, and number 6, the last one. Okay, number 6. And then we're just going to single to the end of the row. So 1, 2, 3. I do so many decreases because I want it to close up quickly. I don't want it to get higher. Like the foot would be like this big, you know, if we did all those rows. So we just want to close it up really quickly. So that's why I did so many, just to close it, to kind of give it, it's going to look kind of funky, like a duck foot. That's all, or Barbie doll beret or something, I don't know. But trust me, once you fill it, it'll start to look, it'll look like this when we're done. Okay, so now we're on row 10. Okay, row 10, we're going to basically kind of do the same thing again. Not so many decreases in a row, just a couple. We're going to do 9 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, then we're going to do 4 decreases, and then you're going to single to the end of the row. I'm going to finish that off. I'm going to pause the video, then we're going to finish that off. So do 4 decreases and then single to the end of the row. Okay, you're at the end of the row now. After your 4 decreases and then you single to the end. There was like 3 or 4 singles left. I think it was 3 singles left in that row. So we're on row 11. Just move your marker back over like so. So now that it's on the kind of the inside of your working side, I guess you could call this your working side, and then that's your outer side. We're basically just going to single around, single round. So rows 11 through 18, you're just going to do single crochet completely around, continuous rounds. So there's one, just single all the way around, and it's just you're gonna do it like you're a continuous round, hence the reason for the marker. So you're going to do 7 rows of single crochet, and then I will come back once that is completed and we'll start up again. Okay, now you should have, it should kind of look kind of squishy like this, kind of like a foot or a boot, I don't know. Let's see if you can see that better. So it'll kind of look like that. It looks kind of funny looking, but once it's filled, it'll look like that. Okay, so we're on our last row. This is basically row 19. Oops. I know it's very tight and it's very awkward because the space is so small but you can stretch it and pull it apart as you're doing it. Just don't stretch it too hard or it'll tear it, and make it easier for you to work with. It's yarn, so it's very forgiving. So our last row, we're going to do a single all the way around. Oops. Do that one over. Okay, getting close to the end of this round. Okay, That's your last one. Okay, so now you're at the end of the row. Okay, see how your marker kind of goes up the edge like that? Because you're going in a continuous round, so it's going to slant. It slants from one side to the other. It's not perfectly straight, I should say. Well, it kind of is. But anyway, now we're going to join here at your first stitch with a slip stitch, like so. Okay. Now, when you cut this, finish this off, cut this with kind of a long tail, because what we can do with that tail is sew in all of the little gaps. So once we fold this down, you'll kind of fasten it, and you can use that tail to weave in and out and pull it in and kind of close up the holes. That's just another creative idea you could use, or you can just cut it off and sleeve the holes. It's up to you. But I just kind of pulled it down and sewed it in, and kind of pulled the gaps together and kind of closed it up a little better, so that it's not so the holes aren't so big as these holes here. So then you won't see all the stuffing. So I just cut off a very long tail just for that reason. And there you have this. Kind of looks like you'll have something that looks like this. Okay, now the fun parts we can start. We're going to basically stuff this foot with stuffing. You can pull out your marker. You can leave these in. You can sew them in later. Just poke them in and pull them through, and just stuff them inside. The tails on the bottom. Or you decided to do it the other way and the tails are now inside. So it's up to you. Or you can just sew them into the back. So now we're going to kind of stretch this a little bit to kind of open it up, and then we're going to stuff it full of stuffing. Just get you some stuffing and shove it down in there. Just try not to stuff it, and then kind of shape it as you go. Push this to the front. Basically, the foot's going to look like however you decide to stuff it. If you stuff it too much, it's going to be kind of an overkill foot. So you don't want to do it too much, but you also want it to be a little bit firm. So once you get enough stuffing in there, and I tend to use a lot, and that way I can shape it however I want. Yeah, that might be too much. You just got to kind of judge it when you're doing that. Oops. Okay. We're going to stuff all that in there. Okay. So now you have this. That's what I was talking about with the tail from here. You can, once we fold this down and you're done, but don't fold it yet and do it. Wait till after we attach the legs, because then you'll know how far down you can fold it and to cover up, and then you can do your sewing in later. But you can take it and then sew and through here and pull it tighter, and then it'll close it up and firm it up a little bit. So you just kind of want to make sure that they match. See, this one's got too much stuffing, so you don't want one foot that's bigger than the other. So I'm going to take some of that out. And you just kind of stuff them. I only folded this one and did that so that I could show you what I did. When I do this, you won't see me do this leg because I'll already have it done. But I will show you a leg when we do this part. So you're going to make 2 of these, and you just kind of stuff the foot like so. So you should have something that looks like that. That's the foot. I know it doesn't seem quite right, but you just got to play with it and kind of get it to form the right way. And then once you put some more stuffing in for the legs and then you fold this down, it'll firm up a little better and it'll be easier. It'll look a lot better. So you just kind of, that's it. And then the next video we'll do part 3, and then it'll be the legs. So stay tuned.